Hey guys, what's going on? This is Raven Eyes here, and welcome back to the channel. So, I've finally reached to this point in the main story where you get to play trial as ChangLi. You get trial Jinsei as well, and they give you a trial version of Rover. And yeah, let's go over this character. Yeah, so we got ChangLi here. She's a fusion character, and she's absolutely stunning, dude. Really, really cool character. She's got some Yai Miko vibes, just like Genshin Impact. Um, However, she's a sword user, so there's that. Um, just looking at her stats right here and what they give us. It's really simple. Nothing too crazy actually at all. So honestly, they just give us straight up attack and crit damage for and fusion damage for um to that's just how she scales off of damage, which it's okay, it's not bad. Her sword gives her crit damage, and her crit rate's not that high. I think 50% is pretty normal, right? Let me look at my lower units. Okay, so you actually could have like 0% crit rate, right? 0.5, yeah. Okay. So they give her some crit damage, crit rate, probably from her echoes. 50% is not bad. It's not crazy high either, but you know, 1 out of 2 times, yeah, it's not bad. So, uh, what else we have here? Basic 4311, 43311. And yep, okay, yes, nothing crazy with this character. All right, her weapon right here, it looks like she just gets an attack increase right here. Obviously, main stat would be crit damage as well. Um, let's see. The equipper gains 1 stack of Searing Feather when you deal damage and triggers every half a second, which is pretty nice as long as you keep attacking. Um, and you gain 5 stacks when you activate her skill, which is pretty nice. Because skill damage is like an animation, and that's time you're not attacking, so just instantly getting 5 stacks is pretty nice. Each stack of Searing Feather gives 4% additional resonant skill damage, so that's pretty nice. A max of 14 stacks. So resonant skill damage is really important because that's her main way of dealing damage is resonant skill damage. Um, so if you don't get this weapon for your echoes, you definitely want to try to get in your substats resonant skill damage. Um, so that's pretty important. Don't just get too obsessed over crit damage. Crit damage is good. It is good, but when you just put all your effort into crit damage, it's going to be too additive and not multiplicative. Um, and so if you want more multiplicative values, you want to spread out your damage calculation. So you want some in obviously crit damage. Everyone's obsessed with that. This is like the last final multiplier, basically, applied to all your damage calculations. So everything starts out with attack. It's not in any form of damage yet. So your attack, and then your skill damage, the type of damage it is. So it's either basic attack, skill damage, or liberation damage bonus, right? Um, as well as heavy attack. That's a separate one as well. So, um, in this case, we want skill damage because that's your primary way of dealing damage. You might want some basic attack too if you want, but resonant skill damage doesn't happen too often, it seems. So, and if you activate a resonant skill, it'll give you an entryway to her skill. I mean, if you activate your resonance liberation damage, it gives you an ability to instantly cast her resonance skill. Well, it'll be available. Um, which we'll go over that in a bit. Um, Obviously Molten Rift for fusion damage. Anyways, let's go over her kit. Yeah. So her main way of So her kit kind of focuses on something called True Sight, right? Um, it's about getting into that state, and there's two primary ways to get into True Sight. If you read here, True Sight is like all over the place. I haven't read this yet, so it's up here too. This is Flaming Sacrifice skill damage, it seems. Which I haven't even read this yet, so I'll read that in a bit. But let's focus on the bottom first. Let me see her intro skill too. Okay, so when you do her intro skill as well, you get access to True Sight, which is really nice. So you start off from another unit, you outro from another unit, and intro into ChangLi, and then you get True Sight, right? You also get True Sight from doing 4 basic attacks. So right here it says perform 4 consecutive attacks after releasing 4 basic attack 4. Enter True Sight, and True Sight lasts for 12 seconds. So just do that real quick. So you go down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. She pulls out her umbrella. That's a little a great and obnoxious animation, so you know that you have True Sight available. And right down here is True Sight. It lasts for 12 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You enter True Sight. Right? The other way to do True Sight as well is for mid-air basic attack combos. Same thing, True Sight lasts for 12 seconds. Right? Yeah, let's just do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And you have True Sight available right down there. Mind's eye. So we're gonna go over that little explosion thing right now. So once you have True Sight available, you gain access to where is it? Skill. True Sight Capture. So after oh wait, let's go over this too. So that's 2 ways. Her intro skill gives you access to True Sight. 4 basic attacks in the ground and on mid-air gives you access to True Sight. And then the minute you activate her skill, which does damage, you get access to True Sight, right? So this is called True Sight Capture, and you have 2 of them as well. So 2 of them at your disposal at any time, which has a cooldown of 12 seconds for each attempt, right? You got 2 attempts. So what do you do after you have True Sight, right? So let's go to Forte skill. So there's a thing called Inflamement, right? And Inflamement is a stack. And you can have up to 4 stacks of Inflamement. That's related to her Forte meter, which is, down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 stacks of Inflamement. Now, how do you obtain Inflamement? Every basic attack you get a True Sight Conquest. On hit, ChangLi obtains 1 stack of Inflamement for every basic attack. True Sight Charge on hit. So you get 1 stack from Inflamement for True Sight Conquest, and then there's this other one that you get 4 stacks, right? For True Sight Charge. So if you go here back to the skills, I think it's here, right? Yeah. Okay. So basic attack, True Sight Conquest. It's under skills, even though it says basic attack, because it's considered skill damage. I think it says, yeah, resonant skill damage is considered as resonant skill damage. So when in True Sight, if ChangLi uses ground basic attack, she releases True Sight Conquest, dashing towards the enemy and dealing fusion damage as resonant skill damage. As well as True Sight Charge right here, which I mentioned right here, True Sight Charge. When in True Sight, if ChangLi jumps or uses basic attack in mid-air, she releases True Sight Charge, dashing towards the enemy and dealing fusion damage, considered as resonance skill damage. After releasing True Sight Charge, True Sight ends. Right? So, two different ways. One on the ground, one in midair. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have that little phoenix is True Sight Conquest, I believe. 2, 3, 4, and then the ground version, True Sight Charge. 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you're on the ground, you got True Sight active. You hit the jump button, and you get the aerial version as well. So there's two ways to activate the aerial version, and one way to activate the ground version. Okay, so what else is next? Let's see. When ChangLi releases base attack True Sight Conquest or True Sight Charge, each stack of inflamement, ChangLi's fusion damage bonus increases. So that's nice. You get a little bit bonus fusion damage. And then this is when ChangLi releases heavy attack Flaming Sacrifice or Resonant Skill Liberation, Radiance of Fealty. ChangLi's fusion damage is increased by 20%, and ChangLi ignores 15% of the target's defense. So that's pretty nice too. More damage from doing these two things, and ignores target's defense for this specific attack. Yeah. So those are two heavy hitters. The fusion damage right here is Fiery Feather. And if you go here in the Forte skill as well, all the way down the bottom, ChangLi obtains 4 stacks of Inflamement for every Resonant Skill Liberation day. Radiance of Fealty. And it even says it right here. Radiance of Fealty gives you 4 stacks of Inflamement. So what do you do with your full 4 stacks, right? So once you have 4 stacks, you have access to a new skill, which is it alters your heavy attack, basic heavy attack, right? I think it's in the skills as well, right? No, it's here. It's under the Forte circuit. So like I said, this is all over the place. It's a mess. It's an unorganized mess. I wouldn't know how to organize this either. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. So when releasing heavy attack, if ChangLi carries 4 stacks of inflamement, she consumes all stacks of inflamement to cast Flaming Sacrifice. You can see right here, Flaming Sacrifice is right there. Dealing fusion damage, and it's considered resonant skill damage. While casting Flaming Sacrifice, ChangLi takes 40% less damage, so that's nice. So even though you're casting it, it's kind of like I guess you get trapped in an animation and then you have to deal it, just kind of like Encore with her heavy attack as well. But I think ChangLi is pretty much faster, and her combat feels really smooth, so that's pretty nice. There's something I haven't looked at yet, is her echo chains, resonance chains. So I don't know what people call this. A1, E1, Ascension 1. I really don't know. I don't know what people are calling this. Resonance Chain 1, obviously, but that's a bit wordy. Anyways, E1, right? Resonance skill, Tripartite Flames, and heavy attack Flaming Sacrifice. Increases ChangLi's damage dealt by 10%, and resistance to interruptions. So I think that's pretty nice. I think I got interrupted a lot when I was trying her out earlier. So to have more resistance to interruption is pretty nice. Inflamement increases ChangLi's crit rate by 20. Oh my god. So while you are gaining her stacks, you get more crit rate, which is actually nice because that means your basic attacks can do more damage, right? Your skills can do more damage. Your Resonance Liberation can do more damage, so that's more for higher damage more frequently. So it doesn't say for each stack. So as long as you have Inflamement, and it looks like it's just a flat 25%. Resonance Liberation, Radiance, Fealty, damage is increased by 80%. So just a straight damage buff. Intro skill cast, all team members' attack is increased by. Ooh, so looks like she becomes a buffer. More team building potential at Ascension 4. Heavy attacks flaming sacrifice multipliers increased by 50%, and its damage dealt is increased by 50%. That is insane. Resin skill to Partide Flames. Heavy attack flaming sacrifice and Resonance liberation. Radiance of fealty. Ignore an additional 40% of the target's defense when dealing damage. So that's huge. So mostly all of this is just about increasing her damage, which I guess that's up to you if you really want. The fourth advancement is really nice for team building, and the first one is really nice for herself, right? So a slight increase in damage, and then it's just more damage increase. I don't know if she will be super underwhelming without it, but I'm definitely going for her sword. I think just one copy of her, one copy of the sword. I think that'll just make it easier for team like building her. But since her main way is to deal resin skill damage. All right, so let's go over just some gameplay. Yeah, so basically, come in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And you have 12 seconds to just do all that. You can do it whenever you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you do skill, and then you have access to true sight and do that. Now here's the heavy attack. Please.
Make it fast.
Alright, so heavy attack does this. And boom. And that's considered resin skill damage, right? And then you have 2 skills, true sight, and you get 1 stack. Skill, true sight, bam. 4 basic attacks, true sight, and bam. Aerial. 1, 2, 3, 4, and bam. Skill, bam, right? And then
I'm fine. Make it fast. Take forward. Clears the blade. Cross cut. Sever.
just trying to get her resonance liberation up.
Make it fast.
There you go. So we can do this. Heavy attack.
Make it fast.
Skill.
Beckon the divine flame.
Bam. And then heavy attack again. Bam. It's pretty nice. I'm gonna leave the field before I kill it. Yeah, ChangLi is really fun to play with. She's a lot more complex and harder to play. As you can see, I got interrupted a lot. I think when I tried Jinxie in the trial, she was never got interrupted at all. I remember playing a couple other units, I just never got interrupted that much. Like Rover pretty much parries so many attacks so easily.
Moment at hand. This very moment.
She also gets some like cosmetic functionality as well. Let me just reset her. So I'll just do that. Which is really nice.
Fast.
Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mind's eye.
Skill 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Skill.
Into flames.
Bam. Right. Let's leave the battle real quick. This is so nice to be able to like just try to reset it just to try her out, but like, I mean, look at this, dude. Her coats got burned off. Her dress skirt thingy is on fire. She's got this weird flaming tattoo thing going on. I don't know what the blindfold's about, but she's got like a little flaming thingy on her forehead. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then once you cast heavy attack, skill damage, and she goes back to normal. Yeah, so that's her kit really. So 4 basic attacks, you get 1 stack of Inflamement. Once you have 4 full stacks, you get her coat gets burned off, and she gets a blindfold for whatever reason, and she just has access to Flaming Sacrifice. So it's just about doing that. Yeah, her Resonance Liberation, as you saw, didn't really charge too well, so you might want to consider getting Energy Recharge instead of all this. I mean, this, since you have crit damage, right? Crit damage on her sword. If you go for her sword, you might want to consider getting Energy Recharge, right? And if you don't go for a sword, maybe consider getting, let me see. Consider getting, maybe Overture. When Resonance skills pass, you get 10 Concerto energy. You know, energy regen is going to be pretty important for her if you want her to be on the field at all times, right? Which I definitely want to. So she's gonna be my favorite character to play with. Let me take a look at her outro skill as well. So the incoming Resonator has their fusion damage amplified by 20%, and Resonance Liberation damage amplified by 25%. So she's for her outro, it's basically the flame version of Yinlin, right? Yinlin does Resonance Liberation as well. Yep. 20 and 25, 14 seconds. ChangLi does for 10 seconds. That's a ripoff. I guess it is what it is, though, you know. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna enjoy this character. I hope you do too. Good luck with your pulls, and yeah, if you're going for Jin C as well, try before you buy. And you know, she's gonna be a great unit too. I wish I could have her as well, but you know, you gotta know your limits. Anyways, good luck and have fun. See ya.